My wife staged a cheating prank for TikTok views, waiting in bed with a stranger to see my reaction. I didn't scream. I just walked out, got in my car, and drove to the airport. 3 million views later, she was still asking why I filed for divorce over a joke. Original post. 32 male. Came home from a 12-hour shift at the hospital last Tuesday. I'm an ER nurse, and it was one of those days where everything that could go wrong did. 2 codes, a stabbing victim, and a kid who swallowed a Lego. I was exhausted, covered in God knows what, and just wanted to shower and sleep. Walked into our bedroom around 11 p.m. Lights were dim, and there she was. My wife, 29, in bed, with some dude I'd never seen before. Both of them under the covers, her wearing lingerie I'd bought her for our anniversary. She giggled. Actually giggled. "Babe, you're home early." The guy looked uncomfortable as hell, but he was clearly in on it because he didn't move. I just stood there. Scrub still on, stethoscope around my neck, brain trying to process what I was seeing. "Surprise," she said, holding up her phone. "Recording. It's a prank. For TikTok. Aren't you gonna freak out?" I looked at her, looked at the stranger in my bed, looked at the Ring camera she'd angled toward the door to catch my reaction, and I just left. Didn't say a word. Grabbed my wallet and keys from the dresser. Walked out of the bedroom, out of the apartment, got in my car, and drove. She was calling after me, laughing at first, then confused. "Babe, it's just a joke. Come back." I drove straight to the airport. Booked a one-way ticket to visit my brother across the country. Didn't answer her calls, didn't respond to her texts. Just got on a plane at 2 a.m. and left. Landed 6 hours later to 89 missed calls and 200+ texts ranging from "OMG, you actually left lol" to "this isn't funny anymore" to "where are you?" I texted back one thing, "talk to my lawyer." Then I blocked her number. That was 4 days ago. My brother's been great letting me crash here. But the real kicker? She posted the video anyway. Cheating prank on husband goes wrong, with crying emojis and everything. It's got 3.2 million views now. The comments are split. Half are calling her an idiot, half are saying I overreacted to a harmless prank. But here's the thing. It wasn't harmless. She brought a stranger into our home, into our bed, while I was working a shift, saving lives. She thought my pain and betrayal would be entertainment. She valued TikTok views over my dignity. And now she's blowing up my email. Can't block that without changing it, saying I'm ruining her content and being dramatic, and it was just for laughs. I'm meeting with a divorce attorney tomorrow morning. Am I overreacting? Everyone's got opinions, but all I know is I can't look at her the same way. Trust is gone. Respect is gone. The moment she thought my hurt would be funny content was the moment our marriage ended. Update 1 week later. Holy hell, didn't expect this to blow up. Thanks for the support, and to those saying I'm too sensitive, cool. You can be married to someone who pranks you with fake infidelity, so. The attorney meeting happened. Her name's a total bulldog in court. Comes highly recommended. I showed her the TikTok video, the screenshots of my wife's texts, everything. She watched the video twice. Then she looked at me and said, "This is actually gonna help you. A lot." Turns out, in our state, bringing someone into the marital home without your spouse's consent can be argued as a violation of the sanctity of the marriage. Plus, she monetized the video. Made $3,400 from the views so far. That's marital income earned through my emotional distress. We filed for divorce on Friday. Cited irreconcilable differences and emotional abuse. Yeah, emotional abuse. My attorney said what she did constitutes it because she intentionally caused me psychological harm for entertainment. The petition was served to her yesterday at work. She's a receptionist at a dental office. Process server said she cried, made a scene, her boss had to calm her down. She called me from her office phone since I blocked her cell. I answered. "Mistake. Are you serious right now? Divorce? Over a prank? You humiliated me for internet clout. It was a joke. Everyone does prank videos. Not with strangers in their spouse's bed. Oh my God, you're being ridiculous. He was my coworker's brother. He's gay. Nothing happened. I don't care if he's the Pope. You brought someone into our bed and filmed my reaction to what I thought was you cheating. That's not a joke. That's cruel. But I said it was a prank right away. After letting me walk in and process it first, you wanted me to be hurt. You got what you wanted. Now you're dealing with the consequences. She started crying. "Please don't do this. I'll delete the video, I'll apologize publicly, whatever you want. I want a divorce. You're throwing away 5 years over one mistake. You threw it away when you thought my pain was content." Hung up. Blocked the office number. Now here's where it gets messy. Her mom called my mom. Apparently, I'm a heartless bastard who can't take a joke, and I'm ruining her baby's life over nothing. My mom, bless her, said, "Your daughter exploited my son's emotions for social media attention. He's absolutely right to leave." Her mom threatened to sue me for emotional distress I caused her daughter. My attorney literally laughed when I told her, "Let her try. Discovery would be fun." But the entitlement doesn't stop there. My wife, soon-to-be ex, God that feels good, posted a follow-up video, crying, no makeup, the whole sympathy play. "My husband left me over a harmless prank. I was just trying to make fun content for you guys, and now he's divorcing me. I've lost everything over a joke. Please send support." The comments are eating it up. "He's so controlling. Red flag energy. You deserve better, sis." But some people found my Reddit post, started linking it in her comments. Now there's a war in her comment section between people who think she's the victim and people calling her out. She made her account private yesterday. Damage control. Too late though. Screenshots are forever. Also got a call from the guy who was in the bed. The coworker's brother. He apologized, said he didn't know she was going to take it this far, thought it would just be a quick scare and laugh, said he feels terrible. I told him he should, then hung up. My wife's been staying with her parents since the serving. I went back to our apartment with my brother and a cop, just in case, to get my stuff. The place was trashed. She'd thrown my clothes everywhere, broken some of my stuff. The TV I bought was gone. My PlayStation 2. Documented everything with photos, sent them to my attorney. Another charge, destruction of personal property and theft. The cop actually said, "Man, I've seen messy divorces, but pranking your spouse for TikTok? That's a new low." Yeah, it really is. Tomorrow I'm going back home. Gonna stay with my parents for a bit while this processes. My hospital's been great, gave me some personal days, coworkers have been supportive, a few even saw the video and reached out to check on me. One of the other nurses said I'd have done the same thing. That's beyond disrespectful. Validation feels good. But mostly I just feel tired. And sad. 5 years with someone who I thought loved me. And it turns out she loved views more. Update 2. 3 weeks later. It's been almost a month since I got on that plane. Life's been weird. Living with my parents at 32 feels like a regression, but they've been solid. Mom makes dinner every night, Dad and I watch baseball, and nobody's pranking me for internet points. So, the divorce is moving forward. But my wife, legally still, unfortunately, has gone completely off the rails with the entitlement and manipulation. First, she tried the "we can fix this" route. Sent me a 14-page letter through her attorney about how she's changed and understands now, and we can go to therapy. Included a list of marriage counselors and a promise to never use social media again. My attorney's response: "My client declines reconciliation. Please focus on asset division." When that didn't work, she shifted tactics, posted another video, this time claiming I was verbally abusive throughout our marriage and the prank was her standing up for herself. Complete fabrication. I've never raised my voice at her except once when she nearly burned down the kitchen, leaving a candle lit overnight. And even then it was just, "What were you thinking?" But her followers ate it up, started a whole narrative about me being the bad guy. Someone even made a hashtag. It trended locally for like 2 days. My attorney sent a cease and desist. The video stayed up for 36 hours before her lawyer made her take it down. But the damage was done. I had people recognizing me at the grocery store. One woman actually came up to me and called me an abuser to my face. I just walked away. Not engaging with internet strangers who think they know my life. Then came the financial games. We have separate accounts, thank God. But we did have one shared account for bills and rent. About $4,800 in there. I was planning to split it fairly during the divorce. She drained it. All of it. Transferred it to her personal account while I was staying with my parents. Called my attorney immediately. She filed an emergency motion. Judge was not happy. Ordered her to return half within 48 hours or face contempt charges. She returned it. But then her mother called my mother screaming about how I'm stealing from her daughter and leaving her penniless. The $4,800 was literally household money we both contributed to. I wasn't stealing anything. But facts don't matter when you're convinced your daughter is the victim. My dad got on the phone, told her to lose his number or he'd file harassment charges. Haven't heard from her since. But the pièce de résistance? My wife showed up at the hospital during my shift, crying, begging to talk to me, making a scene in the ER waiting room. Security escorted her out. My supervisor pulled me aside and asked if I needed to file a restraining order. I said I'd think about it. That night, she posted about it. Went to see my husband at work to apologize, and they kicked me out like I'm some criminal. All I wanted was a chance to talk. Conveniently left out the part where she was sobbing loudly in a waiting room full of sick people and refused to leave when asked. I filed for a restraining order the next day. Court date is in 2 weeks. My attorney says it's a slam dunk given the pattern of behavior, showing up at my workplace, the harassing text to family, the social media defamation. Meanwhile, Asset Division is getting nasty. She's claiming she deserves the apartment. It's a rental, so that's not how it works, but okay. Wants me to pay for her moving costs. Wants half of my retirement account that I started before we even met. My attorney shut all that down. The apartment lease is in both names, but she's the one who chose to leave. She can come back and split the rent, or I'll take over the lease solo. Moving costs are her problem. And my retirement from before the marriage? Untouchable. She's also claiming I promised to pay off her student loans. Never promised that. I helped with some payments, sure, because that's what you do in a marriage. But there was no agreement that I'd take on her $30 debt. Her attorney's pushing for spousal support. I laughed when I read the filing. We were married 5 years, both work full-time. She makes decent money at the dental office. No kids, no justification for alimony. My attorney's counteroffer, clean break. Split the apartment security deposit when we move out. Each keeps their own debt and assets. Done. Her response, rejected. She wants $15,000 from me as a settlement for emotional harm. Emotional harm. The woman who pranked me with fake infidelity for views wants me to pay her for emotional harm. The audacity is honestly impressive. We go to mediation next week. My attorney says if she keeps being unreasonable, we go to trial, and trials get expensive. But she also said the judge will likely side with me given the circumstances. The TikTok video is going to be Exhibit A. Evidence of why the marriage broke down. Evidence of her using marital issues for profit. Evidence of her lack of respect for me. Can't wait to see her try to explain to a judge why humiliating your spouse for content is just a harmless joke. On a personal level, I'm doing okay. Better than okay, actually. Started therapy to process everything. Therapist said what she did was a form of betrayal trauma, and my reaction, leaving immediately, was actually really healthy. I recognized an unsafe situation and removed myself. Been hanging out with friends more. Picked up some extra shifts at the hospital. Even went on a date last weekend. Nothing serious, just coffee with someone I met through a friend. It was nice to feel like a person again instead of a content opportunity. My wife found out about the date somehow, probably mutual friends who can't keep their mouths shut, and sent a message through a friend. Already moved on? Guess I never mattered. I told the friend to tell her, you mattered until you valued views over our marriage. Haven't heard anything since. Restraining order hearing is Thursday. Mediation is next Tuesday. Then hopefully this whole nightmare can be over. Never thought a TikTok prank would end a marriage, but here we are. Final update. 2 months later. It's been 2 months since I walked out of that bedroom. Feels like a lifetime ago. Figured I'd give you guys the final wrap-up since so many of you followed along. The restraining order got approved. Judge took one look at the hospital incident, the social media posts, and her showing up at my parents' house. Yeah, that happened after my last update, forgot to mention, and granted a 6-month protection order. She's not allowed within 500 feet of me, my workplace, or my family's home. She cried in court. Her attorney tried to argue she was just trying to save her marriage and I was being vindictive. My attorney presented the TikTok video, the follow-up videos, the threatening texts from her mom, everything. Judge wasn't having it. Said, ma'am, Your client needs to understand that actions have consequences. Humiliating your spouse publicly and then harassing him when he leaves is not acceptable behavior. Her face went pale. She tried to say something, but her lawyer shushed her. Mediation was a disaster. She came in demanding $20K now, went up from $15, the living room furniture set we bought together, and for me to sign a statement saying the divorce was mutual and amicable. I offered her dollars, she could have the furniture, and absolutely not to the statement. We didn't reach an agreement. Went to trial. Trial was last week. It was one day, pretty quick as divorces go. My attorney presented the video evidence, bank statements showing I'd contributed more to household expenses, proof that my retirement account was started years before we met, and character witnesses including my supervisor at the hospital. Her attorney tried to paint me as cold and unforgiving, said I abandoned her over a joke, argued she deserved compensation for emotional suffering. Then my attorney asked her a question on the stand. Why did you post the video publicly if it was just a private joke between you and your husband? She stammered. For my followers. They like that content. So you prioritized your social media followers over your husband's feelings? That's not. It wasn't like that. But you did monetize the video, correct? Made approximately $3,400? Yes, but... And you posted follow-up videos claiming he was abusive when he filed for divorce? Her lawyer objected, but the damage was done. The judge had seen everything. Verdict came back same day. Divorce granted on grounds of irreconcilable differences. No alimony, no settlement payment. Assets split down the middle. We each took what we brought into the marriage, plus half of what we accumulated together. That meant splitting the apartment security deposit, $1,800 each, and she got the living room furniture, since I didn't care about it. She also had to take down any remaining videos referencing me or the divorce. Her attorney agreed on her behalf because the alternative was a defamation suit. Judge also ordered her to pay half my legal fees since she dragged things out unnecessarily. That was $4,200 she owed me. Her face went red, but she couldn't argue with the judge. Outside the courthouse, her mom was waiting, started screaming at me about ruining her daughter's life, called me every name in the book. My attorney threatened to extend the restraining order to include her if she didn't back off. She backed off, but not before yelling, "You'll regret this. She could have been your whole world." My dad, who came for support, yelled back, "His whole world doesn't include being a TikTok character." We left, got burgers, celebrated the end of a nightmare. But it didn't quite end there, because she couldn't help herself. 2 days after the divorce was finalized, she posted a new video. Face blurred this time, voice slightly disguised, but obviously her. Talking about narcissistic ex-husbands who can't handle strong women, and when a joke costs you everything. Didn't mention me by name. But people connected the dots. Comments were linking back to the original video. Some were supportive of her. Most were calling her delusional. I didn't respond. Didn't engage. Just sent the video to my attorney, who sent another cease and desist. This time with the threat of going back to court for violation of the judge's order. The video came down within an hour. Haven't heard from her since. Mutual friends say she's moved back in with her parents, still working at the dental office, mostly keeps to herself. Her TikTok account is still up, but she hasn't posted in 3 weeks. Views must not be worth it anymore. As for me, I'm doing good. Really good, actually. Moved into a smaller apartment closer to the hospital. 1 bedroom, just me, decorated exactly how I want. No ring cameras, no pranks, just peace. Work's been busy but fulfilling. Helped deliver a baby in the ER last week. Mom didn't make it to L&D in time, and it reminded me why I do this job. Saving lives, helping people, making a difference. That's what matters. Not views, not likes, not content. Been seeing someone casually, the woman from the coffee date. Nothing serious yet, taking it slow, but she's kind and genuine and thinks the whole prank thing was absolutely insane. Good sign. My therapist says I've processed the trauma well. Says most people in my situation would have either tried to make it work, which would have been a mistake, or spiraled into anger and revenge, but I just walked away. Set boundaries, enforced consequences, and moved on. Sometimes the best revenge is just living well. The TikTok video's still out there, by the way. Can't make her delete it, since it's on other people's accounts now. Reposts and reactions and commentary channels. 3.8 million views last I checked. People still recognize me occasionally. Last week someone at the coffee shop was like, "Hey, aren't you the guy whose wife pranked him?" I just smiled and said, "Not my wife anymore. Good for you, man." That was messed up. Yeah, it really was. So that's it. The great TikTok prank divorce of 2025. 5 years of marriage ended because someone thought betrayal was comedy. Lesson learned: marry someone who respects you more than they respect their follower count. To everyone who supported me through this, thank you. To those who said I overreacted, we'll have to agree to disagree. But I'm at peace with my choice. Life's too short to be someone's content.